Welcome, guys, to the Kevin and King movie podcast. That is not the name for it right now. We're thinking about a name, but because we're doing this on Endgame, we just wanted to get the podcast out. We are playing Uno. You might hear some derogatory things because this game elicits a crazy response, but we're just going to talk about the movie, how we feel, and just everything. There will be spoilers in this, so if you haven't seen the movie, please do not watch this. We are going to talk about all the things that happen. So here
I
we
mean, go
go.
see the movie and then watch it.
Yeah. Um, King, how did you feel about the
Yeah.
movie?
Oh man. Well, I I felt like this was about as good as it possibly could have been. I really liked it. Um, I don't know how they could have done it better, but wow, 3 hours is a long time.
Yeah. Um,
Like
I
honestly, it didn't feel like it though. Like uh it kept me engaged for the entire time, but still like sitting down for 3 hours is quite a commitment.
yeah, it's definitely a commitment. I didn't care one bit how long the movie was. If it was 5 hours, I would have loved it. Every single bit of it. It was great. When I when we first got there though, I was super mad at Tammy because she took forever to get ready. And when she took to get ready, so when we got there, we only had like 10, 15 minutes until the movie started. And then I had to stand in this line to get candy and stuff because she wanted candy. And I was like, I don't want to go get candy. I want to sit here and wait for the movie. And she was
But
like,
I mean,
no.
why? Like, did you have reserved seats or did you have to just file in?
No, we had reserved seats. We were good. But I was just
Well, then who
mad.
cares?
I cared. I wanted to see the trailers. But I was just
Okay.
I was just mad, and she made me go get it, and I was mad, and I stood in the line, and then this lady literally took forever in the line. She was arguing with the cashier person that she like because
Oh
she was
Jesus.
like a rewards member or something, and he's like, this doesn't work for your rewards thing. She's like, yes, it does. So she had to wait there and get the manager and everything, and I was just super, super mad at that point. And then I got all the stuff, I got in
Mhm.
there, and Tammy looks at me and like taps the top of the drink. And I looked down and I was like, I forgot the straw. And then I was like, I have to go get a straw, don't I? So I had to get up and run and get a straw. And then the people next to me,
Uh-huh.
like, literally just stay stood that whole time. So that I think they were
Uh-huh.
pissed at me a little bit, but other than that, it was good.
Weird.
I also went to pee like 3 times before the movie to make sure I didn't have to, but yeah.
Right.
Other than how it started for me, I loved the movie. It was wonderful. Everything about it, I loved. Like, well, not everything. It elicited responses from me, sadness, everything, and I love movies that do that. I did have like
Uh-huh.
some problems with it, but that not like a critique or anything. It was just like, oh, I didn't want to see it end that way, or I didn't want to see this happen. I like, in my heart, I had
Oh.
something else. But the movie was perfect. Like, I liked how it ended. Like, I, for the most part, liked how it ended. I'm okay with it ending, but I thought it was great.
So my experience is I tried to see it almost exactly how I saw Infinity War, and I wish I'd rewatched Infinity War before going to see it, but I went to the AMC in Kansas City and went to the dine-in theater, and
Okay.
I like I I got there like I had to go do what I usually do in Kansas City, so I got there way earlier than I normally do because my sleeping schedule is all kinds of fucked. But I got I picked my seat, which was the last seat in a row that wasn't front row, and
Oh.
uh, and then like I went and did my stuff. I came back to the movie and got in there. like 10 minutes before the movie was supposed or before the trailers were supposed to start. Sat down next to this family and uh and then it was just me and this family for like 15 minutes. And it was just like, oh man, like did nobody else pick these other seats? So like they order from the dine-in waitress, and then I order from the dine-in waitress. Thankfully, she realized that like we were two different entities, you know.
Yeah.
But we get all that taken care of, and then people start filing in for the rest of the seats, and then this really cute girl and her dad sit down next to me, and I was like, fingers crossed. Nope, the dad sits next to me instead of the daughter.
Aw,
And
that's sad.
yeah, I was just like, oh well, that's a bummer. And like he clearly had something going on with him because he was walking real limply and everything. But he sits down next to me, and the waitress comes by and takes their order, and she asks for the card they want to do, like right off the bat because you know that's how it works.
Yeah.
And he's struggling to get it. Finally, he has to stand up to get his wallet out and take care of it. And he leans over and apologizes to me, and I'm just like, oh man, like whatever you got to do, you got to do. Like no worries, because apparently he had a bad hip, and anyways, long story short, never talked to the daughter, but I think I got a pretty good chance with the dad.
Oh my god, dude.
But
Spe-
that was my experience.
yeah, that's intense.
Yeah.
Speaking of like just the moviegoer like crowd, when I went on opening on like the pre-release night or whatever on Thursday, it
Uh-huh.
was probably well no, it was the best movie crowd I could have like ever asked for Endgame. There was no one being obnoxious. There was no one like doing anything stupid. You know, people like they were clapping and cheering and everything, which is okay. You know, this is a huge movie. They're gonna love it, and I was totally okay with that.
Right.
But there was no one like eating obnoxiously beside me. There was no kid in there that started crying or anything, and I was just like, after I got done with the movie, I was like, man, that was an amazing experience because the crowd was into it. Nothing annoying happened. I didn't have to get mad. I just could sit there and watch the movie, and just it was the best crowd movie experience I've ever had at any movie at all, and it was by far amazing. And I think
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of that,
I was also very impressed by my crowd's um whatever
their
their
etiquette, yeah,
etiquette. That's one of the
yeah,
words I was thinking of. Yeah.
no, and
Decorum.
yeah, and I think because that for some reason the crowds had that, it made the movie so much better. It's like we were all in war together, and we were all experiencing this same emotional roller coaster that is in game together. Like even though I have never spoken to the people across from me or below me or beside me or anything, like we were experiencing something. That was the first time I've ever seen a movie to where I could see and feel that everybody was this was happening to everybody, which was
Yeah.
awesome. And I mean,
Yeah.
and
The only I only had like the slightest thing is that family that I sat down next to, the dad in it. I don't know what was up with his sinuses, but he sounded like a pig just like rooting around like when he breathed.
oh,
Like
that
he
sucks.
just had that like piggy snore to him even though he was awake.
Yeah.
And so like I had that on the family side, and then on the dad and daughter side, the dad asked like two questions, which I would have happily answered if he had asked me, but he didn't. He asked his daughter, who apparently had the knowledge. Um, but like he asked questions like twice, and that was it. So like I had no problem with it.
Yeah. And you know, there. I mean, honestly, if this wasn't 10, 11 years in the making of building of Marvel movies, what, 22 movies now, I don't think that people would have reacted and had the same decorum, the same politeness that they had in the movie, the same like heart and everything, without this huge, without Marvel and Disney
Backlog.
making, yeah, without this huge backlog of everybody experiencing these movies together. Like it was literally a once in a generation phenomenon. Like they were in our generation, there will probably be nothing else like this ever again. You know, like, and
Yeah.
that's I think all of that accumulated into this huge, amazing experience that if you go, there's no way that you could have a bad experience if these people actually all watched the movie and had amazing, had an amazing time on this roller coaster and on the journey, the 10-year journey. But I loved it.
And just holy shit, dude! Like 11 years in the making, and they pulled it off as far as I'm concerned. Like that's incredible.
Yeah, they blew it away. I mean, there's nothing else that they could have done with that movie that could have made it better. Honestly, like it's by far the best, probably the best Marvel movie ever made, or at least maybe not ever made, but by far the best. Like something about it, like it was better than everything else. Just the experience, the way that they did it, the best finish that they could have like ever made of any series or anything. It's up there with like with Lord of the Rings, with Return of the King. Like that's how big and noble and
Although I
great
will
that
say
movie
this
was.
one, I will say this one did a little bit better than Lord of the Rings as far as wrapping everything up.
Oh
You know
yeah,
how Lord of the
definitely.
Rings just had ending after ending. Like this one felt a bit more, uh, like not like it felt a bit more like the way it should have gone instead of just like and then this happened, then this happened.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And they left. With Lord of the Rings, you couldn't really leave like some holes in it and stuff because like the Russo brothers and stuff left those timeline holes and everything in it at the end. It was like, how does all this timeline stuff really work? How did Cap, like he's old now? How did he come back and different like this? What happened with those other timelines and stuff? And they were just they instead of answering those questions, they were kind of just like, we're not going to answer these, and it's still going to be great, and you're not going to be obnoxiously mad about it that it ruins the movie. It's going to be like, holy crap, they're going to be talking about this for the next 3 years until we get answers because the rest of the movies are going to talk about this. The new
Hmm.
Spider-Man Far From Home, it's literally him going to have to cope with what just happened. You know,
Yeah.
but no,
Which,
yeah,
which like is one of the things I'm so impressed by. I thought they'd just like make it reset, like absolutely. But they actually have that 5 year gap, and people just have to live with that. Like people in the universe, like Ant-Man just missed 5 years of his daughter.
yeah,
Uh,
and
like
that's
so surprising.
when you see that happen at the beginning, when you see Clint's family die, you like see them and they find Tony and they go through all this stuff and it's like 5 years. Like when you see that, you're like, holy crap! Like it's 5 years they've gone through something, and they're trying to live with it. And then you get to the end and you're like, okay, they're gonna fix all this, and then it doesn't, and you're like, holy crap! They actually have to live with this, and it's going to be rough. Like it's gonna have an illicit response that ripples through the rest of the movies. And I think that
Yeah,
was brilliant of them, honestly. Like, um, I mean, I think if they would have did it to where it reset everything, everybody came back, nobody died or anything, think people would still be okay with that. But I don't think
yeah,
that it would have had the power that this movie had. I don't think that
right.
people would I don't think people would go into the movie and they can't deny this movie was amazing. It was fun to watch. It was great. But at the end, you're gonna have people that were like, "Holy crap! I hated how it ended. I wished Tony didn't die. I wish Cap wasn't old and didn't give the shield to Falcon." You they couldn't have done that with any with the other ending. You're not gonna have people that absolutely love the movie but still have this illicit response to be like, "Oh, I wanted to see it end another way." I want these answers and everything. They're not, and then there's people like me who are like, I loved it. Like, everything about it, I'm okay with those answers not being answered right now.
Right. Yeah, no, it's just it's mind-boggling what they did. Um, do you want to start getting into specifics?
Yeah, yeah, we can do anything. Let's do it.
Okay. Um, First off, I did not expect the 5-year jump. I didn't realize the timeline would go that long. But like
I thought there was gonna be like a time jump, but I thought that the time jump was gonna happen with Captain Marvel. Like, if you've seen the end of the movie of Captain Marvel, she like the end credit scene, she like comes in and they say, "Who are you?" or whatever. After a time,
yeah,
they're
where have you been? Or like she mentions that like, hey, the beeper was going off. What's up?
yeah.
They're just like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the time jump, like a couple of months, but not 5 years.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I thought it was gonna be like 8-year tops. But like, wow, they had to live with that for 5 years.
yeah,
Um, just like half of everything is gone. Uh, I imagine like every like I was just thinking like how many people like just gave up the will to live um or like died from some random thing, like anything that could have happened,
yeah. There was probably like
like all
amazing
that.
doctors who had cures and people who could fix these things they can't anymore, and these people are just dying and just you
Yeah,
know.
and Hawkeye's barber got zapped halfway through his haircut apparently.
I didn't mind the haircut. I thought it was awesome. I liked
No,
it.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was
Yeah.
odd. Yeah, good luck with that hand.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude, speaking of Hawkeye, I did
uh-huh.
not. I 100% did not see them opening the movie with literally tearing our hearts out of our chest. Like, seeing him
I was
lose his
confused when
family.
it started with that. I was so surprised there weren't any like opening credits or anything before that. It was just like, by the way, movie starting, bam.
Yeah, they were like, we're not letting you cheer yet. We're gonna hit you with this heartache, and then we're gonna give the credits. And during the credits, you're gonna be like, "What just happened? What my like? I
Yeah,
can't even cheer for these credits."
and the roughest part is like he didn't see any of them go. He just didn't have them anymore.
Yeah,
Like he went around the tree for his daughter, and by the time he got around the tree, his both of his boys and his wife were gone. Like he didn't see him turn to dust; they were just gone.
I vanished. Like after 10 years of this thing and bonding with Hawkeye and not seeing him in another movie and everything, and just that just tears you apart right there. I was just like,
Yeah,
I was like, you guys are evil. Like, this is gonna mess some people up.
yeah.
No,
It was a good way to start though.
no. And then then they go in and like Tony gets back and they're like, oh, we have a plan, and then they go and find Thanos. I was like, man, this is really early. I don't know where they're gonna go from here.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
Yeah, I was, and then and all my thoughts when that whole beginning was happening, um, when they like went to find Thanos and they were on there with him and everything, and he was hurt, and I was just like, man, how is this gonna end, or how are they gonna get to where we need to go? And then
Mhm.
Thor just chops his head off. It's just like, okay, uh,
He sure does.
uh, I, I I like the beginning. I thought was great. Like it was a little bit like it made you be off guard for the movie, and I think that was a really good like messing with your head, you know.
Yeah,
So we're so,
it it kind of felt like you needed to watch Infinity War like hours before this, but at the same time, I think they cut it at the right point where you could take, you know, a year-long breather and then watch it.
yeah,
Which, by the way, I regret not watching Infinity War again before watching this,
yeah.
but like I knew enough, or I knew everything, so it wasn't like super confusing or anything.
How did you feel about like Tony? You know, when Captain Marvel came and got him back, and he was like super defeated. You know, he gave up basically. How did like? Were
It
you
made
okay
sense
with that?
to
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Tony Stark has only ever lost in Civil War, really. So like him feeling an actual crushing defeat, uh, was probably the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Oh, and I loved the like the whole because you don't really get to know Nebula or anything at the in any of the other movies. You know, you never have any character build or anything with her, and then it
Yeah, you
hits
get
you.
bits and pieces, and that's it.
Yeah, and then they kind of hit you with like, oh, this is this character, and we're gonna kind of quickly build her character with Tony on the ship because they're dying together. You know, we're gonna show you
Right.
how she is and how she's acting. I thought that was like that whole setup, the whole first what that was like 20-30 minutes of the movie. I thought they like set it up perfectly for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, on the other hand, I think Marvel did Black Widow super dirty for the entirety of these last 11 years.
Oh yeah, they didn't give her a
Like,
movie or well, isn't she has like a movie coming out, but I guess it's gonna be a prequel, isn't it? I don't know.
I, I mean, it kind of has to be.
Yeah, and I don't, and yeah, you speaking about doing her dirty, like she didn't even get to fight in this movie. Nothing. She didn't do anything. She just sacrificed
Yeah,
herself.
no,
Like,
she just got screwed over again and again and again. I imagine like when Captain Marvel came out and they were like, "Wow, first time like female superhero lead in a Marvel movie." I imagine like it was kind of like the ending of a game of Super Smash Bros, where like um, Black Widow's just in second place doing that like frustrated clapping, you know?
yeah, yeah, and
But
I mean,
damn, dude, like, and then just to have it end like this, that,
yeah, I,
and then she misses out on the like all female shot, like during the final battle, like all the
yeah,
women are together,
I
which
feel
I thought
like
was a cool
that's.
shot, but kind of weird.
I thought it was super funny. Like they pull that shot in, and then right in the middle of it, you kind of have like Spider Man there, and it's like, oh, Peter Parker's with all the girls. It's like just kind of making fun at him just a little bit. I thought it was great,
Yeah,
but
just
I think this movie like I was okay with it, but at the same time I was like, okay, we didn't get to see Black Widow do anything. She like you said, she was done really dirty in the movie. But I mean,
yeah. I mean, like she took over Shield, I guess, for like 5 years, but that was like the only thing she got to do besides sacrifice herself.
yeah, I
And like in Age of Ultron, it was told that like she couldn't have kids even if she wanted them. Like just like
yeah,
man, she got nothing out of it.
Yeah, but I mean, she helped
And
save
she's
the
been there since
universe.
she's been there since Iron Man 2.
Yeah,
But they're just sorry.
yeah,
Rough, dude.
yeah. I, I don't know. That kind of like hurt a little bit, if you be honest.
Yeah.
But no, I'm okay with she. She made the ultimate sacrifice
To win.
to win. But also, dude, um, you know what I felt was kind of dirty about her? They didn't have like a real funeral with her. Like Tammy brought this up, and they were like,
Yeah.
why didn't they have a funeral for her at the end there? You know what? They were doing Tony's. Why not hers? And I was kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, why not?
And and also like why the fuck would you send the only two regular ass humans to like a distant planet to go do something?
I don't know. Yeah, that
Like
was weird.
War Machine's got a suit, Nova's got her, being a fucking space robot, alien, cyborg, whatever. And then it's just like, hey, Hawkeye and Black Widow, good luck. you know,
Yeah,
enjoy that other planet. I guess you can breathe on it.
yeah. I guess it would make. I don't know. I don't know why it was done that way. Honestly, I guess to be honest, those were the only two that could have sacrificed themselves right there. That loved each other that much.
Yeah,
The, and I guess that was the way that they were seeing it. Like, oh, this is the only way that we're going to kind of have this happen.
yeah. But also, like, why the fuck didn't Nebula warn them? Like, she knew what Thanos did, like, to
Yeah,
get the Soul Stone. Like, why wouldn't she be like, hey, can we possibly get it after? Cause, or just like heads up, if two of you go there, one of you isn't coming back.
I mean, but did she fully know though? Like I know that he had to kill her and everything, but I wonder if Nebula like knew that that's what you had to do. Maybe they
Well,
all
I mean,
thought
she
that there
could
was
have
a
at
different
least
way.
like given the information that she knew. Like, by the way, Thanos went to that planet with Gamora. He came back without Gamora and had the Soul Stone. I don't know what that
Yeah,
means, but watch out.
yeah. Um,
I'm not going to that planet.
yeah. I mean, to be honest, anybody else would have went that they wouldn't have accepted it. None of them would have been like, "We're doing this." They all would have tried to do something else. Honestly.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, so I guess let's talk about the time heist. Uh, do you feel that was like? Did you see that coming? Like that they were going to go back in time?
Uh, it was one of like three possibilities, and that one probably made the most sense
Yeah.
as far as like how they're going to either get the Infinity Gem stones or like defeat Thanos or whatever. Like they either had to go back in time, especially after like Thanos said he destroyed him and then Thor lopped off his head. Like it had to be that or like alternate dimensions, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I was fine with it.
So did you like? Okay. Oh, I don't want to get like in depth into this mainly because this is like a whole nother podcast or video or anything that we could do like because this
Uh-huh.
is we would literally have to talk about the timeline thing for hours and hours to like try to understand it. But were you okay with how they did the timeline, like talking about the fractured timelines, having to put the stones back and everything, like because they kind of did leave some stuff open, especially with Cap at the end, and did they put the time stones back in these uh, proper places, and what happened with Loki? Did he make did Tony Stark make his dad a better man or anything. How do you think? What do you think about
Yeah,
those?
I thought it was fine. I see it either going one of two ways. Either they say that Cap did it correctly, and therefore, that's like that's the end of that, or they say Cap didn't do it correctly one way or another, and therefore, new Marvel movies have to fight these new alternate timelines or go into them or try to fix them or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't really have a problem with it.
Okay. I was. I mean, I don't fully. So I don't have a problem with it or anything, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like they could have wrapped him up a little bit better. But as long as they
Maybe, but the movie was
explain,
already 3 hours long.
yeah. But as long as they explain them in other movies and like the Marvel stuff to come, I'll be okay with that. I do want those answers answered eventually, but I
Uh-huh.
liked that Cap finally got to have like a family and got to you know have love and maybe kids or something. I don't know, but I'm happy with how it ended basically.
That is one of the things I totally expected to happen. Is for Cap to go back in time and just stay there.
Yeah, that I kind of thought that was gonna happen too. I was like, oh, if they're gonna make him die or not be in the other ones, it's kind of got to be like that. But
Yeah.
I just didn't know
Although,
how they were gonna pull it off.
although they made it in a way where they could totally retcon it if they somehow get Cap to come back.
Yeah, get
If
Chris
they want Cap
Evans.
to come back, they can totally pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, all they have to do is because he would already know in that timeline. All they have to do is do the jumping in and go back to that and be like, "Hey, we need you right now," and then he would just be like, "Okay, let me jump in the suit and come help." You know?
Yeah. Or they this way they could have a like child of Captain America, or they could get some of his blood and make a new soldier. Maybe they do it in secret so that the U.S. isn't just using that for fucking everybody or anything. But there's they could definitely bring in a new like person with Captain America capabilities,
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of
or just bring back Ryan or
Chris
Chris
Evans.
Evans.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of thinking like, what if they did that with the Falcon? Like, can you know, does he accept that? Will he get those powers? Later on, like because obviously he's Captain America now, and
Right.
I'm totally okay with him being Captain America. I know a bunch of people were like, "Oh, Bucky's supposed to be it." They was supposed to be Bucky and stuff, and I was like, you know, Bucky's cool and all, but honestly, I feel like Falcon was the most deserving of becoming Captain America at that time.
Yeah,
Honestly,
in this timeline, Bucky being Captain America would be real weird. Although I do kind of feel like they did him a little bit dirty in this movie too, where Falcon gets to talk to Captain America and he doesn't say shit to Bucky.
yeah. Well, kind of how I saw it, I felt like Bucky knew, like he already knew, and I feel like Cap may have told him that that's what he's going to do, or like maybe like in that timeline, Cap had already talked to him because Bucky was kind of like, he's like right there, and he knew that he was going to do that. He wasn't surprised or anything.
Well, I think that's just what he expected from
Yeah,
uh, Steve Rogers.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I'm and with Falcon becoming Captain America, I'm totally down. Like I'm okay with that. It brings you know, another black actor become a prominent superhero. I think that's great. It'll give more kids in America and everything a chance to relate and have it more at home. Black Panther's
Sure.
awesome and all, but he's in Africa. These movies are made in America. You can see that, okay, this guy truly relates to you, and I feel like he kind of has more of a like a connection with America. And I like that. I'm okay with it.
Also, Anthony Mackie is just like he's got a real fun personality both on screen and off screen. So
Yeah,
like I'm stoked. I hope he gets some kind of cap level super strength or whatever just to like give him more capabilities because
yeah,
we've seen what happens when you're just a regular human in the Marvel universe.
yeah.
But uh but yeah, I'm totally on board with Anthony Mackie being Captain America.
Yeah, I really hope in like the next couple of movies they show him as Captain America, or like if they do another Ant Man
Well,
movie, he like goes in
have you
and
seen the Falcon Captain America outfit?
no, I don't think so.
I mean from the comics. It's
Oh,
cool looking.
I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm down. I think it's cool. Um, but yeah, going back to the time heist, um, during the time heist is kind of where at the beginning and the in the middle they saved all the action. There was not much action or anything. They kind of took you back and made you feel for all these characters again. With Thor becoming fat. It's like, wow, what
Yeah.
who honestly
Wow.
saw Thor becoming fat? Like,
Yeah, no, they completely left that out of all media leading up to.
yeah, and I thought it was great because it really showed him in a different light. That he can be a normal person with normal feelings, and that things can happen to him. And
Yeah, and he was just so crushed by what he felt like his own failure and everything.
yeah, I thought it was good. I loved it.
Yeah.
Did you
I
like?
would like to see him back in shape though.
Oh, he'll definitely be back in shape. Yeah. Um, but going into like the time heist and everything, where it made you feel for all those characters again, you kind of wrapped up their personalities or wrapped up them coming to terms with themselves again, all of them. Uh, I
Mhm.
loved it. Tony getting to talk to his dad one last time before he sacrifices himself. Basically, that's kind of what. If he wouldn't have talked to him, do you think he might not have even sacrificed himself? He might have tried to do it a different way. And I think that the ways that they did all that was perfect. To say, how we were talking
Mhm.
about Black Widow and Hawkeye there together, that it was perfect about showing their relationship, showing how much they cared, what each of them were going through, and how hard
Mhm.
they like fought for each other. Um, but I mean, do you have anything like? How did you feel about all that?
Uh yeah, I I don't know. I feel like the talk with his dad was kind of not that important compared to everything else that was going on. I, I don't know. It just seemed kind of a weird addition. Like it makes sense, but at the same time, it still felt kind of extra to me.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, going back and talking about Tony, with them killing him off and everything, especially after he has a kid and has lived with 5 years. He's basically the only one that's really even close to coming to terms with what happened because he had a kid and everything. At the
Yeah,
end,
he moved on.
yeah, it really like hits you at the end when he dies. It's like, oh man, he had a kid. Just he did this for Peter. He did this for everybody. Like, and now they've killed him off, and it's like, oh, he never gets to be with his kid again. He never gets to. We never
Well,
get to see that.
well, let's not go that far.
What do you mean?
Uh, well, um, I mean, it's not unprecedented for him to have uploaded his entire conscious to an AI, like, and I'm not entirely convinced that he made that uh made that hologram for his funeral like after the fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, or I'm not entirely convinced he made that before it happened. I wouldn't be surprised if he still pops up in Spider-Man as just like, "Sup, kid? You thought I was dead?
yeah,
Like, now I live in you, nerd."
yeah. But
um,
I mean, I could see that, and I think that would be really cool. But I mean, still, it's not like him in
God,
person, you know.
could you quit fucking me in this game though? Like, just please.
I'm just playing the cards. You've won the most out of all of us so far. Um,
But yeah, no, I was surprised that they quote unquote killed off Tony Stark. I'm not a huge fan of how they played out that death scene because it kind of felt like he died like 4 times during that.
yeah,
Uh, but um, but yeah, that was one of the things I was surprised by. Um, I I, I was kind of expecting like him snapping his fingers and him to just be dead, or him sticking around and like recovering somehow. I mean, like obviously mangled and like not able to be like 100% Iron Man anymore, but like still around.
yeah. I think Tammy wanted to see like him retire, basically. Like, you know, he wasn't in any of the movies again as Iron Man. Like, he couldn't fight or anything, but he was still alive.
But
Like,
he
he
could
knew he
still
was
be his
there.
little tech wizard self
Yeah,
and mentoring the next generation.
yeah. And I think that was probably one of the only things I would have really liked to see
Well,
changed.
what I'm saying is I'm thinking he's still gonna pop up in those movies
Yeah,
just as like uh an AI or whatever, and just like as a mainly a mentor role,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like especially to Peter Parker and maybe to whoever else. Shit, sorry, I quit instead of continuing.
You're
But
good.
I think,
Do I
are you still
invite
in that
you?
game?
Yeah. Do you want me to just leave?
Yeah, try it. You can just invite me.
No. Yeah. I think that would be great. I haven't even thought about that, about him uploading his conscious and kind of being still there, but as that type of mentor. I think that would actually be really cool. I'm on
Yeah,
board.
I'm not saying that's what they're gonna do, but I'm not surprised if that's what they do.
Yeah. Um, do you want to talk anything more about the time heist? Like, you want to get into that, or you want to just go to the end about where all the big stuff happened?
Uh, let's see here. What else in the time heist? I had this really weird, um, like moment of like revelation during it, where I was just like at first it was just like, oh wow, they just like like kind of superimpose them into this shot or whatever, and then I was like, holy shit, they just like recreated everything and then just refilmed all of this, like
Oh yeah,
all the stuff in the tower besides like all the alternate shots and all of that, and then like going down the elevator and everything, and then and what really caught me off guard is Robert Redford just popping up again. I was just like, oh holy shit, like they got everyone back for this.
yeah. I thought that was. It, I felt like the time heist and all of that stuff was like a great way to bring everybody back into the movie that had somewhat of a significant part in all of it. You know, with everything that happened. I like they brought Loki back. He was a huge part of all the movies. You know, they brought. Uh,
And I'm curious to see if that affects anything going forward. Like if Loki is still somehow alive because of that.
Yeah, well, and that's a timeline thing, you know, because of that, and the people are like, you know, what happened with all this? What happened with these timelines? And it's
Well, see,
something.
it's got a bit of wiggle room, but because they failed to get the Tesseract in 2012, they went back and got it in 2000 or in 1970. So therefore, whatever Loki picked up was not the real one.
Well, it was if he went back and put it back in 1970, and
Captain America, you mean?
yeah, if Captain America did that and put it back in 1970, because that would, like they were talking about, that would have been another fractured timeline, you know, or
Okay.
because that fractured timeline, it goes linear to like everything else that had happened before, and then them going to put it back, that timeline never happened, or what a, you know.
Sure.
But I don't know. Like it's questions that need to be answered, and I'm nowhere near smart enough or like have enough knowledge of that to answer it. Like I really don't know, and I'm hoping to hoping that they'll answer these questions.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. It leaves wiggle room in any case.
yeah. So okay, I want to talk about Ant Man, and I want to talk about Hulk Banner. Hulk, you know,
Okay.
that. But so going into this movie, I was like, I really hope that they make Ant Man a huge part of the movie. Like he is a significant part because, you know, in regular Avengers in the comics and everything, he's original Avenger. He was supposed to be there from the start and everything. And I was like, I hope they do it. And I felt like they did it very well. You know, he was the one that came up with we can go back in time. He's the one that, you know, basically gave them an option to be able to save the world, to save the universe.
Hmm.
So I liked that, you know, what they did with that man. I thought it was awesome, and you
Hmm.
know, Paul Rudd is just amazingly funny. You know, every scene that he was in was great.
Right.
Do you have any comments
Yeah.
about the Ant
Well,
Man timeline? Anything connected to that?
not really. Ant-Man and the Wasp is the only movie I haven't seen in the Marvel catalog.
Yeah.
Uh, I uh, I did watch the end credits, so I knew that he got stuck in that quantum realm for the
5 hours.
yeah. Well, I mean I knew he got stuck there for the snap,
Yeah.
but but yeah, I like those are the movies I care the least about, but I really enjoy Paul Rudd in that character.
Yeah, I think he was.
I
I just think he's great.
Yeah, I just find those to be well, I mean, like mostly I just didn't go and see it because I didn't have the money to when it came out, but like that's like those are the movies I'm least interested in just because something has to be and those happen to be it.
Yeah, I love all the Marvel movies, honestly. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I don't know. I liked that they brought Ant Man in and how he had like an actual significant role. You know, in Civil War he had a role, but it wasn't like super significant or anything. I just think it
Right.
was good to see that he is going to be a real part of the Avengers now. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, so moving
Yeah,
on.
I'm curious to see where they go forward with him because he's the only one who only has two movies. Like
Yeah,
there's people who have one movie, they're clearly getting sequels. But like Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, and no, I guess just those three. Like they've all had their trilogy. So he's the odd man out if he doesn't get another one. But let's face it, he's totally going to get a third one at least.
Yeah.
And I think Thor is going to get a fourth because I heard that Taika Waititi was has pitched a script, and it seems like he's going to be teaming up with the Guardians. Maybe not full time, but at least for a bit. So there's a lot of ways to play with that.
Yeah, I think if
I
they
do
do
hope he,
like
I do hope he gets ripped again though, because like him being fat for one movie was funny,
yeah.
but it's gonna be weird if that's what continues going forward.
Yeah, I think they'll kind of do. What I'm hoping that they'll do is just like a crossover thing to where they, how they did with Civil War, how they did with Thor and Hulk and
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. You know, maybe like Guardians of the Galaxy something, and then it has Thor in it. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, and I think they all played really well together in Infinity War and in that last scene in this one. Uh, so I think there's a lot of potential to be mined there.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Hulk Banner or Banner Hulk. uh,
Yeah.
I'm okay. I
I don't really know what to say about that. It's not unprecedented in the comics, but um,
I'm I didn't mind it, but I definitely would have rather seen regular Hulk fight. You know, I wanted to see Hulk come back and be super epic again because you know in Infinity War they had this like problem with each other and Hulk wouldn't come back out and everything, and I kind of wanted to see that resolved. I mean, they resolved it, but just not in the way
yeah,
that
they
I
did just kind of
wanted it
shrug it off.
resolved. Yeah, and I don't know. I thought it was
Also,
really funny.
I didn't really understand what he'd been doing for the last 5 years.
Yeah, me either. Like I'm trying to think about it now, and the only thing I remember is just the super funny, um, like Paul Rudd and him talking and them like taking those kids trying to take pictures with him and stuff. That's the only
Uh
thing
huh.
I remember from that, from like him trying to explain what he was doing because I don't know. I didn't mind it, but I thought it could have been. I would have rather
Yeah,
seen regular Hulk.
I didn't mind it, but like those kids were like I don't know 12, so they would have been 7 when everyone else got snapped.
Yeah.
So like they're now fans of Hulk who hadn't been seen since Age of Ultron.
Maybe he was doing a lot of like community service stuff, you know? Maybe that's what he was talking
Maybe.
about. Like he was helping the community a lot or something. I don't know.
Yeah, or he just became like re-famous as a scientist for being a big green science man. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I thought it was really funny. I liked it, but I don't really know if I want like if he ends up getting another movie or does like another movie. I don't know if that's like what I want to see. I thought it was really refreshing when he was with the I forgot what her name is, but she was Doctor Strange's mentor. Um,
Oh, the ancient one?
yeah, the ancient one. When he was with her and she like knocked his spirit or conscious out or whatever, and he was his
Uh-huh.
self. I thought that was
Uh-huh.
nice. I liked seeing him as him, you know.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't know.
I'm not sure where they're gonna go with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe they're gonna make him back to Mark Ruffalo and just be like, well, yeah, my fingers were too big to hit most modern keyboards, and I couldn't use a phone right, so I'm me when I need like we had another talk, and the big guy will just hang out, and like we'll have you know custody days or something.
yeah, I don't know. But I also feel like at the same time that's the only way to keep Hulk controlled. It's basically them to be like okay to share the same mind, to have that consciousness. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I just and I also don't know how strong Hulk Banner is. Because he's obviously
Yeah,
has
we
the
really didn't get a good look at that.
yeah. I don't think they did him justice at all. Like they could have shown, is he actually really strong, or does he not have all that strength? What is kind of going on with him?
Hmm.
Because Hulk pulls his strength, and he's one of the strongest heroes or strongest people in the Marvel universe because he's angry, and his anger continues to build and build and build. So if he's not angry, then how how do
Yeah,
we kind of fix that? Maybe it goes back to what was it, the first Avengers, to where he's like, oh, I'm angry all the time still. So maybe he can
yeah,
pull that. I don't
yeah.
know.
I don't know. That's something we're gonna have to just wait and see. But it was interesting. It was neat to see him as kind of both personalities together. Although really didn't feel any of his anger or strength when he was uh like Hulk Banner.
Yeah, I didn't. And I think everybody kind of expected a big fight scene from him, or some type of cool fight scene, because he didn't have any in the last movie. As Hulk.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know why they chose to do it like that or what, but it's cool.
Hmm.
Um, so do you want to talk about all the end stuff? That's basically
Yeah,
the
let's do it.
crazy stuff. Um, oh, I don't know where to start. I'm trying to
Well,
think. There's a lot, and we've talked about some already.
like of all the things that are kind of absurd that the Avengers survive and everything, Ant-Man getting a face full of like a alien artillery shot was surprising to say the least.
Yeah,
Like
and
I
I
thought
want.
somebody was gonna have to go back in time again or like use specifically just the time stone to like rewind time, I don't know, 15 seconds and warn them to get down because
Yeah,
like that I did not expect.
Him living and Hawkeye living. That was like, wow. You you went
Well,
through
at
that.
least Hawkeye was in like a different room.
Yeah, and um, Ant Man. Oh my god, I have something stuck in my throat, dude. But I mean, maybe Ant Man went like super small or something, and when he did that, it kind of took away the impact of the strike or something. I don't know.
I guess, but at the same time, no, we fucking didn't. Like we
Yeah.
watched him get thrown back from the explosion.
Yeah. But I mean, superheroes live through the craziest stuff. So
Yeah,
I just feel
I'm
like
just
he's a
saying, like
superhero.
of all the absurd things, that's up there.
Yeah.
Like from what we've seen in the MCU, like that one's up there.
Um.
So like we get to the big fight. Thanos brings down uh his entire armada of outrider outriders or actually was it outriders in this one? Was it Chitari? I mean like they're all kind of same
I don't know.
some sort of gray monster that runs fast. Like
Yeah.
but um but like man that shot of just like all the uh all the sorcerers throwing in like everyone from everywhere.
Yeah. That
Like,
it was amazing. Like I
holy
liked
shit.
that. It was just like, and he said, and Captain America standing there against this whole army, and then Sam comes in. He's like, on your right or on your, like, well,
On
he
your
said
left.
on your left or
Yeah.
something, and he was like, he turns around and sees all of it, and it's just like, yeah, we're here. We have an army, and then you see Pepper come in and everything in her Iron Man suit, and it's just like, this is going to be an amazing fight scene.
Yeah, just like that shot of everyone just pouring in, just it kind of felt like the culmination of the 11 years more than anything is just all these people just pouring in like groups and single people and everything just coming in to fight. It was just holy shit, dude. Like what a moment.
Yeah, I don't think there's any moment like that in any other movie I've ever seen. To be honest, there is, nothing that there's nothing that I can think of right now that is that epic of a scene, and just and like you said, it brings back all of the last 11 years. Everybody was there. They didn't leave out
Yeah.
anyone at all. They were all significant. They were all part of this universe and there to help fight and save it. And I thought that was amazing. Um,
Yeah. I just I mean, like the closest thing I can think of is like again back to Lord of the Rings, like in Helm's Deep when Gandalf
oh
appears with the
yeah,
Riders of Rohan, or in Return of the King when Aragorn jumps off the ship and all the ghosts follow. Like
yeah,
those are the closest, but this feels like the most earned
yeah.
because it was 11 years in the making. It was everyone, and it felt right.
And then when they went into the fight scene, it actually felt amazing and epic. And I know after the movie, Tammy was like, "Man," she's like, "I don't think the fight scene was long enough and everything." I was like, that was like a 30-minute fight scene, right? I was like, that fighting lasted forever, but it just didn't feel like
Yeah, no,
forever because,
that fight that fight was exactly as long as it needed to be, as far as
yeah.
I'm concerned.
I was like, it was a long fight. There's just a lot going on, and it was so awesome and like intense that
Hmm.
it didn't feel long because you were just
Oh
so,
yeah, just
all the emotions were going in. You got to see everybody again. You got to see Spider Man. You got to see Black Panther again. You got to see Doctor Strange, and you got to see them all do a significant thing at that time. You
yeah.
know, and I the end battle was amazing, and even when it like transitioned to more about fighting Thanos, and then the stuff happens with Thanos and Cap and everybody.
Hmm.
Him and Thor are fighting Captain America.
Dude,
He,
what a
he kind
fucking
of picks
moment!
up a
And
hammer.
Captain America gets the hammer.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, we all expected kind of that it would happen at some point. I don't think anyone really was prepared for it happening there, but fuck, what a cool moment.
no, yeah. As soon as Thor was back in his timeline thing, and he like held his
And
hand
he
out for
grabbed
it and came back.
Mjolnir and took it with him.
Yeah, I was like, Captain America's gonna pick it up and fight in this movie. I don't know when, but it's gonna happen, and it happened. But like that was
Yeah,
just that was
for
as
me, I
epic.
was just thinking, like, doesn't that fuck up that timeline? Like, how is Thor gonna defeat the elves without his hammer?
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing. Like you had that. He Captain America took it back, and basically when you take it back, I guess all you have to do is throw it to the side, and then Thor can hold his hand out, and it just comes. it just
Yeah,
so I don't know,
Thor's just
but
like, where did I put that hammer?
yeah, but I know like that moment. I feel like that moment was just as epic as everybody coming back. It's just like, oh, you
Yeah.
are truly worthy of this hammer. And also when Thanos picks up Stormbreaker, like he holds it and is about to kill Thor. Thor's like, holy
Uh huh.
crap! But
Yeah.
Stormbreaker does the same thing as I don't. I know that it starts with an M, but I can't think of I don't know how to say its
Mjolnir.
actual name. Mjolnir. Isn't it the same thing? Like you have to be worthy.
No.
Okay.
No. So Thanos just did it because he had tremendous strength,
Yeah.
the strength of a Titan. Um, but Mjolnir Mjolnir had that I guess curse or blessing or whatever, that it would only be picked up by those who were considered worthy, because in the first movie, Odin says that to make sure that Thor doesn't get his hammer back until he figures out what's worth fighting for and proves himself worthy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, dude, that, and I'm not entirely pleased with how the line was delivered, but I'm so glad Captain America finally said Avengers Assemble.
Yeah.
Like, just, we've been waiting so long.
Yeah. And I felt like, they had to add it in. They had to do it. Um,
Yeah.
but no, everything about that fight was amazing. And I mean, the fight with just Thor and Cap and all that, and he gets the hammer and everything. That was a whole fight in itself. That was another
Yeah.
5-10 minute fight that was just happening, and it was amazing. And then you get the big battle.
And I really like that. Like, I mean, they couldn't do anything about his gut, but they made Thor's hair like more like it was braided, and the beard was braided and everything
Yeah,
when he called upon the like power of the storm.
yeah,
I really like that to it.
yeah. And kind of when they put him in his suit, like you could tell that he was still bigger, but at the same time you were like, okay, it's kind of like regular Thor.
Yeah.
But what was crazy was that Thanos was amazingly strong, and
Right.
you see that he's that strong, and you see that in the last movie, Infinity War, he never used his full strength of what he had, because he basically beat the crap out of everybody in this movie, even when Thor had Stormbreaker. You know, like he beat them all, and he never. I guess in the last movie they just never really showed his power, and even when Captain Marvel came in, you kind of see him actually able to challenge her. And I'm totally okay with what they did with Captain Marvel. She wasn't like a huge part of the movie or anything, which makes sense. She's
Yeah.
had one movie. She was never that significant in any of the Marvel movies. So if they bring her back and she has like a super big lead role, then that would just kind of be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bring her in at the front. She helps save them. She gives them a chance, and then you bring her in at the end and helps finish the fight and brings everyone all together. And I, I think that's good.
Yeah,
And
I really wish she would wear her helmet more. Like, nothing against her face. I really like that look.
yeah, I liked the short. I can say for sure I liked the short hair better than I liked the long hair. I thought that was really cool.
I'll get used to it in her next movie. This one, it like everyone was getting a fucking haircut in this movie, or
Yeah,
growing it out, but everyone's hair changed. I liked Rocket's comment about it, just because I thought it was funny. But yeah, her hair, I'll be fine with it in the next movie. It's just in this one, it's still just like, but what about the mohawk and the helmet?
yeah,
I don't know why I'm so bothered by that, but I just really want her to wear that helmet. Like, I just think it's a really cool look when she's like actually taking things seriously.
yeah. I can totally see that. Um, no, but I liked her. I liked what she did. I also liked that
Yeah.
they fought together and everything, and they were so worried about like getting the stones back that she couldn't just like beat the crap out of Thanos, even though it kind of looked like she could beat him. But they
Uh-huh.
teased that she could kind of like beat him, but
That she
because they
was
were
that strong.
yeah, but because they were so worried about having to get those stones back, and that was the only way to like complete everything, that he kind of like defeated her, and I felt like that was a great way of her not overly coming in and overly dominating the movie, and at the same time showing, oh, this is how strong she really is. Um,
Yeah, and him having to take out the Power Stone just to punch her was a pretty cool moment in my opinion.
yeah, it was great. I I really like Thanos. Honestly, like I thought that I think that he's just an amazing character altogether,
Uh-huh.
and I liked how they kind of ended him. You know, with how he sat down and kind of went away. I thought all of that was
Hmm.
good.
Yeah. God damn it! I
Uh,
tried so hard to keep that Una.
oh man, yeah, but I think the movie just overall was amazing. Oh, and then just going into the rest of the end of honestly, so like they oh like Tony, you know, gets it. He's kind of fighting with him, and he gets into a situation to where it's kind of like Infinity War, and but
Yeah.
because the glove is made out of like an Iron Man suit, Tony knows how to manipulate it, and he manipulates and gets it, and he beats him.
Hmm.
Do you like that he?
Hmm.
Do you like the line that he said when he snapped?
Yes. As soon as Thanos said it, I am inevitable, I knew that the next line was going to be Tony being, yeah, well, I am Iron Man. Uh, and like in my head, I could hear the Iron Man riff. I'm glad they didn't put that in, but but at the same time, I wouldn't have been very upset if they had.
Yeah,
But yeah, what a way to cap off the 11 years, because that's how the first movie ends. Is he's like, I am Iron Man, and then you hear the rift, and then like over the credits is Iron Man by Black Sabbath.
yeah,
Uh, so like having him do that before he snaps is just like, fuck yeah.
yeah. I loved it. I thought it was great. Like the same thing that you said. It was just amazing. Um, so do you feel like how they ended it with him doing the snap and everything? You feel like that was just like you liked that ending and everything?
uh, I I didn't have any problems with it. I'm failing to think up any ways it would have been done better.
Okay. Well, I mean, I
Why did you have something about
no,
that?
no. I was just making sure. I was wondering if you thought it would should have
Yeah,
been.
no,
Well, no.
I
Oh, okay. I remember why I asked because a lot of
okay.
people that I was seeing are like I was looking up stuff after and seeing they all were like, what happened to Nebula? Why didn't she kill her dad or anything like that? Because that happens in like the comics, right?
I mean, in one of them probably.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that I've read were like, you know, wasn't Nebula supposed to kill him, or wasn't this supposed to happen? I was wondering if you had any thoughts like that.
No, I like honestly, like Nebula has become a better part of this, or like a bigger part of the series, but she's still only been here for what, 4 years, and her character is like half good, half bad. Even when she's good, like she's still kind of bad. Like
Yeah,
I, I don't care enough about her character. Like, like it should have been Iron Man in this um continuity, and it was like that's as far as I'm concerned, that's the way it should have been.
yeah. I I definitely like it. the only other person I could have thought it would be to beat him and it be okay would have been Captain America, you know.
Yeah,
But
it had to be either Captain America or Tony.
yeah, but I was more than enough okay with it being Tony. I mean, I'm sad to see him
Right.
gone and everything, but totally understand. Um,
Yeah.
I thought it was a good ending. I'm just sad that he's gone. You know, that elicited emotional response that it gave me at the end. It really hit home because I was like, I loved Iron Man. I loved his movies. You know, it's kind of what started us on this journey and everything. And I thought
Hmm.
it was good. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, as of right now, that's most of my thoughts on the movie. I'm trying to think of other stuff, but I don't super have anything else to say unless like you could spark a thought in me. Do you have any like last comments or last anything about it?
No, I think that's probably all we're gonna do. Like I think that's more than enough.
Okay. Um, well, guys, thank you for watching. That was mine and King's, Kevin and King's podcast thing. We will have a name, I promise, one day.
Wow, an even better title.
Yeah, we'll have a name.
We're gonna have to work on that.
But if there's anything that we missed or anything, we'll probably make more videos on it. We really enjoyed the movies. I really enjoy the Marvel Universe, and I'm pretty sure, and I know King does as well. So if there's any other things that happen with this movie that we want to talk about more in depth, we'll make videos and we'll talk. We'll just have a conversation about it, and we'll see where it goes from there. But I'm very excited for this movie. I'm glad it happened. I thought it was amazing. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. When I put this out on like podcast stuff, it will go there. But don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and everything.
Yeah, definitely comment if we missed anything.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it. Definitely, we'll have a conversation with you or anything. And I won the game. That was my first Uno game that I won, guys.
You fuck.
Yeah. So we're ending there.
You
Thank you,
stole my
guys.
Uno like a grubby little piece of shit.
So thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.